Welcome to episode 89 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. And you have to excuse the noises and the wobbling because Severus Snape decided he wanted to keep me company, and I have a lot of stuff on the table, so he's struggling finding somewhere to lie down. And before I was so rudely interrupted, I was going to continue with my intro. There's a Ko-fi page where you can support me and the podcast, and there's a group on Ravelry where you can participate in make-alongs. And there's a thread for questions there if you wanted to ask me something. The Grinch make-along is running until the December 31st. You can post it's one thread for both FOs, whips, and chatter. If I choose, when I draw the winners, if I land on a picture of a work in progress, I'm going to check if the same work in progress is posted as an FO, because you're allowed to enter with whips, stuff you have started before November 1st, but you have to finish to be eligible for a prize. You have to finish by 31st of December. I'm so distracted because the cats are walking all over the place because they have been home alone during the weekend, so they're kind of needy. Was there something else I was going to say at the beginning? No. We went to Nyksund, the Christmas village, early on Saturday, and I was vending there Saturday and yesterday. Didn't have a lot of sales, but that wasn't a big issue because it was also for the trip, because it's sort of a getaway for me and hubby. And we started, our first time was last year, and it was sort of a nice relaxed start for our Advent season. Or relaxed, it's really nice and cozy while you're doing it, but it's kind of stressful setting up and packing down and everything. And I have a busy day today, hence the lack of makeup, because I'm just going to record this. I'm going to edit it. I have to take stock of my yarn because I'm reopening my Etsy shop at 4 p.m. this afternoon. And it's yesterday was the first Sunday of Advent, so I'm going to put up my Christmas ornament in the kitchen window and the Christmas curtains in the kitchen. And I'm going to start getting ready for December 1st. That's on Thursday. I'm going to decorate a bit before I start vlogmas on December 1st. Maybe I'll do some decoration while I'm recording. We'll see. I've decided to decorate the tree early this year. In Norway, we usually don't decorate the tree until December 23rd. And to me, the Advent season, December, is it's the coziest part of Christmas. So I want to decorate the tree early this year. And again, sorry for the wobbling. I'm surrounded by cats. As you can tell, I have switched things around a bit. I'm sitting on the opposite side of the table, so I have a more calm background instead of all the mess. Partly because the living room is more messy than usual, because we went away for the weekend. And I'm sort of exhausted, so I'm not sure I'm going to do a lot of housework today. I'm only going to do the stuff I have to do for the shop and the podcast. I have some laundry to do. Other than that, that's what I'm planning on doing today. So I'll probably do some knitting today. And speaking of knitting, maybe I should talk about what I've been knitting on lately. Something else I was going to say is I have decided not to record a podcast in December. So this is this year's last proper podcast episode. I'm going to do longer episodes, I think, every Friday or something, where I show you my knitting. So that the rest of the week will be the usual vlogmas stuff, not necessarily a lot on knitting. So I can do sort of podcast / vlogmas on Fridays, where I talk a bit about my knitting and show off yarn if I'm dyeing yarn that I want to put in the shop. So that's going to be on Fridays. The rest of the days it will be the usual vlogmas stuff. I haven't got the shop update on Sunday. I did dye up some yarn for the Christmas village, but I put that in the shop as I dyed it. So I haven't got anything new going into the shop on Sunday. But there's there's also a couple of stitch markers now in the Christmas section. So that's where you go to find the Christmas yarn. I have plenty left, so I might not be dyeing any more Christmas yarn. I'll see, because it's getting to the time where if you live abroad, you have to order now to be 100% sure to get it before Christmas. I have one skein left of the self-striping Rockin' Robin, and the rest is the variegated Rockin' Robin on full skeins, and some Nixon, and some skeins of Fairy Tale of New York on BFL, and the stitch markers. Nixon on several bases. So that's in the Christmas section. And then we can start talking about the knitting. We'll start with the biggest FO first. And now I have 2 cats on the table. We'll start with the biggest FO first. I have to get the cats to get off the table. Oh, so again, so sorry about the wobbling. Now Roar is getting his revenge by scratching the new chairs. So this is my Stonecrop by Andrea Mowry. I wore this weekend. The yarn is River Knits Chimera in the colorway Pumpkin, and Sonnes Sisu. I think they call this colorway Golden Brown. If you check my project page on Ravelry, you find the colorway number there. As you can see, if you're familiar with the pattern Stonecrop by Andrea Mowry, you know there are supposed to be baubles here. I omitted the baubles. I didn't want them, because I'm thinking they're going to get caught on stuff when I wear the sweater. Plus, I think I'm big enough around here if I'm not going to have baubles as well. So, no baubles. What I did, I just replaced the bauble with a pearl stitch. And I like the way it looks. And some cat just jumped off the table, and that's why it started wobbling. And there's something strange with the light today, so as you can tell, the colors change a bit. So sorry. I probably need to get new equipment, but I can't afford it at the moment. So I was thinking about getting a new camera, but nope, I haven't got the money for that. So we just have to work with what we've got, I guess. I'm going to use my mobile phone for vlogmas, and this is it's a Logitech Pro webcam I use for recording my podcasts. I really want a vlogging camera, a proper one, but I haven't been able to afford it. Not yet, anyway. So that's my Stonecrop by Andrea Mowry, and I've fallen down a rabbit hole. A gnome rabbit hole. Sarah Schira, or Imagined Landscapes, is really good with her gnomes. She makes a lot of really cute gnomes. And this was the one that started the entire thing. This is the gnome called Gnome, pun intended. This I made in worsted, in the classic Christmas gnome colors. The beard I made from Corriedale spinning fiber. And the nose as well. I felted some Corriedale fiber to make the nose. And I showed this to our neighbor, and she said, "Oh, I want one. Can you please make me one?" But she wanted a bigger one. But she had bulky yarn in those colors. So this is her, no pun intended. So this is the big boy. I'm going back to her place with this as soon as I've finished recording, so she can get her gnome. I really love this pattern. But I knitted 2 of that one, and then I decided, I want to knit more gnomes. So again, I've fallen down a rabbit hole. I have finished 2 more. This one's called All Work Gnome Play. I love her punny names for them as well. And this one I made grey haired, but of course it had to have grey hair. And this is sort of an advent gnome. It's purple. I've used Fabel from Drops for the hat, and the body is some ancient yarn from Stash. It's an alpaca blend. I've lost the ball band. I've got no idea. I just remember that it's an alpaca blend. And the mittens and the decoration on the hat is with leftover Permin Luna from my Fjolla sweater. I forgot to tell you what yarn I used for this one. It's Drops Charisma. All of it. Drops Charisma. I have loads of Drops Charisma. Both the leftovers and full skeins. And this one I finished last night after we got home from Nyksund. And that's... this is a her, this is a he. So this is her husband. The colors are a bit dull. If I hold it back here, nah. You can tell he has the Permin Luna again from the Fjolla sweater in his scarf. This one's called Oh No, You Didn't, by the way. And his nose and her nose as well are felted wool balls. I have plenty. I bought them to use them for stitch markers. I never did. And they are perfect for these gnomes. This is the hat is knit with, I can't remember. It's also a leftover without a tag, so I have no idea what yarn it is. Can you tell I have lots of fingering weight? Leftovers. The body is hand-dyed. Again, I'm not sure what it is. I could probably find out. But, and the pockets are made with the same yarn as the hat. And this is, as I said, Oh No, You Didn't. And I started another one last night. And I just started the body. This is the Adventure Gnome. When I finish them, I steam the hats so they relax a bit. And this is the Adventure Gnome. The body is, it's like a ball, and it's got legs. You can knit long legs, and this is going to be my elf on the shelf. It's going to sit in the kitchen on a shelf in the kitchen. And I think I'm going to knit several. As soon as I finish that one, I'm going to cast on a new one, and that's going to be neon colors, I think. I need a neon gnome in my life. I have lots of neon minis and leftovers, so I can't wait for that one. That's going to be so much fun. But those were my FOs, and I only have one more whip in addition to this one, and that's what I knit on in Nyksund. It's in a Christmas bag from last year's collaboration with Gibber Sews that I called Red Door, and I kept the bag for myself. Sorry about the colors changing. If it's something about the light or something, I'm not sure. And it's Twin Stitches Designs Candy Mountain Cowl. I've knit her Candy Mountain socks. I'm not sure if you remember. And this is the Candy Mountain Cowl. And the grey yarn is Drop Snor. It's leftover from a sweater I knit. I had 2 balls left and I needed about 100 grams of the main color, so that was perfect. And the contrast color I'm using is mini sets from Nikki Slip. I had 3 different ones, 6 skeins each, so that's 18 10-gram minis. And you need 24 for this cowl, but I've added 3 extra rounds in the main color stripes. So my main color stripes are a bit wider than they're supposed to be, because I want, hopefully it will be long enough to go twice around my neck. If not, I'm going to repeat because I have enough for 2 stripes of each color. So if I want it longer, I'm just going to repeat the middle set of skeins another time. Because what I'm doing, her mini sets are fades or gradients, and I'm doing them one at a time. This is the first one, and it's called, I kept this is a card, and this is called Gazing at the Heavens, is this mini set. And the other 2 that I'm going to add are, sorry about the crinkling, Gleaming in the Deep. Hold it like that so you can see the colors. And Reflecting on the Memory, I think it says. So those 2 are going in now. But I'm knitting Gnomes, so I'm not sure when I'm going to knit on the cowl. But I want it finished, and the Drop Snor is an alpaca blend, so it's really soft and nice, and this cowl is for me, just saying. So those are my active whips. I have some socks, but I haven't knitted on them. I'm going to start a new project December 1st, because I have the Cornrow Craft Advent for 2022, and I have decided what's going to be my Advent project. I'm going to knit the anthology throw from Helen Stewart's Knitvent 2022. I bought the Knitvent this year, so because I wanted all the patterns, because the other patterns normally are perfect for leftovers, and many. So there's one for an entire advent calendar, and then there's a hat and a pair of socks and a pair of mitts, I think it is, and one more thing, a cowl for mini skeins or leftovers. So, but I'm going to knit the anthology throw, and it's, if you remember her habitation throw from last year, it's about the same thing, except this is round. And I'm picturing this over the back of the couch. So that's where I'm going to put it, I think, when it's finished. And even though it's a big project, because I'm going to knit the advents, I'm opening them and knitting them into the throw the same day. So when Christmas rolls around, I have a new throw to put on the back of the sofa. So that's perfect. Last year, I waited until January casting on the advent because I wanted to decide on a project. I wanted to knit a sweater, but this year I want to do what I've done the other previous years. I've knitted the advent as I've been opening it. I have plenty of minis. I don't need the minis for other stuff, and I love buying minis. So that's why I'm going to knit them as I'm opening them. That's what I had for whips and knitting. Something else I'm going to do before Thursday is making the intro and the outro for the vlogmas. For vlogmas, because it's so much easier editing if I have the start and the end, and I'll just put in everything in the middle. I'm going to look for music that works with Christmas, and that's what I'm also going to do this week. Something else I'm going to do this week is I'm going to add undyed to my Etsy shop. So it's going to I'm going to add undyed skeins of the different bases into the section for the bases. So I'm going to add, let's say, undyed Polldale to the Polldale sock section in the Etsy shop. I decided to do this because several people have asked me if it was possible to buy the undyed, if they needed white for a sweater or for a pattern. They wanted the white as a contrast colors for something. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to add the white. And now we have cats fighting in the kitchen, as you can tell. I think I have to press pause, maybe? No, they stopped fighting. It's so entertaining having 3 cats when one of them is kind of a pain. And yes, Severus, I'm talking about you. And that's basically what I had this time. I'm going to add some footage from Nyksund at the end. Not a lot of footage, because I did an entire thing about Nyksund last year. Not much have changed, except for one thing. There was no snow this year. We still haven't got any snow. And now it's above 0 temperatures, and it rained yesterday. So it's about like it used to be. In the south of Norway, they have snow, but not in the north of Norway. So everything is kind of turned upside down. So we've had, the ground has been white here, but that was only frost. So no snow as of yet. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of snow before Christmas. I sort of like a white Christmas. So hopefully we'll get just a tiny bit of snow. So this was a short and sweet podcast for it being the last podcast of the year. But again, I'll see you again on Thursday for the first episode of Vlogmas. And then I'll talk a bit more about my knitting on December 2nd, because that's a Friday. And I'm going to do it like that this year, because that way I don't have to set aside time for recording a podcast in the middle of Vlogmas. So when it comes to podcasts, I'll see you next year. When it comes to seeing you, it will be on Thursday, December 1st, for the first episode of Vlogmas. And now I'm going to start decorating for Advent in my kitchen. I'll see you on Thursday. Bye bye.